Right now, the Indiana Department of Corrections is piling up IOUs. That's because it ran out of money to reimburse county jails for housing inmates.
And tonight at 6, our Jenny Runovich shows us the financial fallout.
Well, it's a big IOU. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars owed to local jails from the state that hasn't been paid in months.
A lot of county jails are on the hook for a lot of cash right now. Payments for housing prisoners they should be getting from the state.
It's been a few months since we've had any reimburse. I know it's over $100,000 for Bartholomew County.
It's several $100,000. It's quite a bit of money.
Tippecanoe County hasn't been paid since April, nearly a year. The Indiana Department of Corrections confirming to 13 News it ran out of money for reimbursements, saying funding for this expense has been exhausted for state fiscal year 2025. Why, we asked? No response. When will the money show? Sheriffs don't know.
Not sure. Yet to be determined. But it does make it difficult, and when you go now almost an entire year, at what point are we really going to start feeling that?
You know, there's a waiting game to get the payment, and in the meantime, your county is the one flipping the bill to house these inmates that should be in the Department of Corrections and should not be in the county jail.
County jails hold felons or state prisoners during sentencing and before they're moved. The IDOC is supposed to reimburse a per diem of $37.50.
You know, to pay for meals, help pay for medical care, jail uniforms, mattresses, the light bill, the water bill.
Some smaller counties now feeling the pinch. Tippecanoe County, over budgeted locally, can cover the added costs. Counties are also negotiating to get more money per inmate in general. That $37.50, not nearly enough.
The actual cost would be $63.50 a day.
We're not being adequately funded for actually what it costs to house an inmate in the county jail.
And still stuck with the tab for inmates who moved on months ago. Jenny Runovich, 13 News.
Now, the counties have had delays in these prisoner payments in years past, but they've never had delays that lasted this long. Sheriffs, though, say they are confident that they're going to be able to work out a resolution with the state of Indiana.
Tonight at 6, IU is now temporarily pausing all fraternity and sorority social events on the Bloomington campus.
This decision is in response to several incidents that went down there last weekend. So a statement that came from leaders at the IU Interfraternity Council and Panhellenic Association, they say the pause is to, quote, address reports of health and safety concerns within the community.
All of this comes after several reports of tampered drinks at events. This temporary suspension will end on March 24th, which is the Monday after spring break and 1 month before the Little 500 bike race.
Today, we did reach out to the university president, who declined to comment.
Tonight, a Greenfield man is charged in connection with a deadly shooting outside of a restaurant here in Indianapolis.
This happened on the city's south side last Friday. 34-year-old Randy Godfrey is now charged with murder after police say that he shot 32-year-old Robert Smith outside a Texas Roadhouse restaurant located near Southport and McFarland.
IMPD is telling us the two men started fighting inside the restaurant, and that's when an off-duty IMPD officer stepped in to try to break it up. Police say Godfrey escaped from that officer and then followed Smith outside before allegedly shooting him.
A double homicide in a quiet Brownsburg neighborhood on the west side now today is leaving many residents who live there in shock.
And despite this tragedy, some people say they're not too worried about crime becoming a bigger issue. Alex Almanza is in Brownsburg tonight to tell us how neighbors are reacting to this violence.
A lot of residents I spoke with on the street say that they've lived here for decades, and the only real issue that they've had recently was drag racing. So when neighbors woke up to crime tape and police cars lining Acre Avenue, they were surprised. According to Brownsburg police, officers were in the area and heard gunshots sometime after 2 in the morning. Once they got here, they found 2 men dead. Police say the 2 victims were found outside of an SUV that was partially in the driveway and in the street. They tell us they do have a person of interest in custody. Now, Brownsburg has been known as a quiet town, and even with something like this happening in their front yard, neighbors say they still feel safe here.
You know, I wouldn't say, hey, don't come to Brownsburg, don't come to Hendricks County, because it's still a good place to live. I mean, things happen. There's some things you just can't control. But I think we have a pretty good police force.
And we have reached out to Brownsburg Police for more information, including the victims' names. We're going to get that to you as soon as we get that on air and online. In Brownsburg, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
For the first time tonight, we are now hearing from the new CEO of the Indianapolis Housing Agency.
This comes nearly a year after the federal government took over that agency, citing financial problems and mismanagement.
Our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick shares the new vision to turn things around there.
The CEO tells me she is well aware of the long-standing challenges here at the Indianapolis Housing Agency, saying that's why she's here, focused on turning things around.
Yvonne Bean officially started her new role just a few weeks ago, coming with more than 2 decades of public housing experience, including the recovery of 2 other troubled agencies.
I have a demonstrated track record of being able to turn things around, and I'm looking forward to doing just that here.
Last April, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development stepped in and took over the Indy agency, calling IHA dysfunctional and unacceptable, citing financial problems and mismanagement.
I want the residents to know that I am hearing them, and we are working on things that will respond to and address a lot of the things that have been expressed as a concern.
Currently, the agency and HUD are working on a 12-month plan that will be released soon. In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.